processes.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Purple Pill Podcast. We're here with episode 107. I'm here with some beautiful ladies and some intelligent, handsome guys. So let's get started. We'll get started with your name, your age, and an interesting fact about yourself. We'll start with you, Carlos.
All right, my name's Carlos, software engineer. That's my interesting fact, and age is 25.
Okay.
Cool. Colton, 27, and I was adopted.
Okay, interesting.
Nicole, 33. And I've been practicing yoga for 11 years.
My name is Anais. I am 30 and I am a music artist.
Okay, I have another question. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm originally from San Antonio.
San
actually.
Antonio. And you moved down to Dallas when?
2019. So I've been
Okay.
here for about 4 years.
And where are you from?
The Philippines. And then I moved to Dallas when I was 7.
Yeah. And Colton, you?
Let's just say I'm from Tyler, and I moved to Dallas probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
All right. And Carlos, you?
I was born in Mexico City, moved to Dallas when I was 8.
Awesome. So, icebreaker question, right? When was the last time you ever doubted yourself? So it's like a time you were like, should I do this thing? Should I make this move? Should I start this project? Should I take on this endeavor? When's the last time you ever doubted yourself? We'll start with you, Carlos.
I think it's like when I ended being on talking terms with my ex. That's when I was like, "Am I sure I want to do this?" But then just decided to do it. That was probably like last week.
Okay. So you're saying that last week you were thinking, hey, should I call my ex back or no?
My ex was like saying like, "Hey, can we be back on talking terms? Let's be friends again." And
Uh-oh.
I was just like, "Hey, I'm not about that life anymore." So that was
Alright.
like the last time we talked. I doubted myself.
Okay. What led to the end of that relationship?
There's just some things I was like I had to think about like what's best for me and like what's best for her. And like even though I wanted to be in a situation where both of us were happy, I realized what made me happiest was just not having her in my life. So I just had to do what's best for me.
She was toxic. She was a toxic Latina. if she's Latina, I don't want to assume or nothing like that.
I mean, I don't like speaking badly about other people. To be
Hey,
honest.
just be honest, bro.
I mean, like I would just say like I don't think our relationship was healthy, and that's like the best way to put it.
Okay.
That's respect, man.
All right. Okay.
You're better than me.
Go ahead, go to him. Let him know.
What? Your question?
Yeah. Just
Uh,
last time you doubted yourself.
I mean, I'm a creative, so like today, I mean, I'm always doing stuff with music or in a creative space. So I don't think I think if you're not doubting yourself, you're not really pushing yourself to your limit in a sense.
Mm,
I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all probably felt that starting this podcast, doing everything.
for sure.
Here, because you're pushing yourself to be better. So if
Yeah.
you're not, I feel like you're too stagnant.
Are you Nicole?
Today. Yeah.
About what were you doubting?
Just like my priorities in life and everything else like that. I usually try and take into account my actions, my thoughts, my feelings, and I think it's good to keep myself in check,
Wow.
and not be confident and overly confident in things that I think that
Wow.
I'm right or something.
Wow, Nicole, that was so vague. I'm gonna need some details from you, Nicole, please. All right. No, wait, yeah. So, like, what exactly today, like, that you doubted, you were like just unsure about?
Okay, well, this is more like not on relationships, but this is just like I'm about to fly out on Wednesday and I don't know if I can if I can pack everything that I need to, like clean the house and like get all of my work done and how I'm going to do that, or if I'm going to mess up because I tend to be a perfectionist sometimes.
Mm,
So I'm always thinking about the things that could go wrong.
no, I
But
get that.
yeah.
Are you like, I don't want to like diagnose or anything like that. Are you like OCD or something like that? Is that the word for it, or am I using the wrong word?
Sort of. Well, I have ADHD, and with ADHD, there's this term called rejection sensitivity dysphoria.
Mm.
So even if I do a lot of things right, I tend to just like bully myself with like one thing that I did wrong. So
Okay.
Mm.
yeah.
And Anais?
No, thank you for sharing that. I feel like that's kind of a vulnerable thing to share about yourself. But I guess kind of like really similar to what Colton had to say. I'm also an artist, and yeah, the same doubt kind of just creeps in every now and then. Like, okay, is this something I should be doing? Like, maybe I should go get a real job again. That kind of thing comes up, but I guess what I have to bring myself back to, and this is something that I say a lot, when you take the out of doubt, what's left is do. So just do the things that you know you should be doing to work yourself and to get to a certain goal, and try not to think too much about how you're going to get there. Just take the small steps. So that's what I do to help myself whenever I get into those doubtful places. So
Yeah, but the question was, when was the last time you doubted yourself?
today,
And what did
Today.
you doubt? What were you doubting?
yeah, like just whether or not I have what it takes to be a music artist and
Okay.
to do that. But yeah.
And what kind of music do you do?
So it's pop, but not super mainstream. Like dark cinematic electronic pop. Yeah.
Because when I hear pop, I think like Taylor Swift, kind of.
No, it's not like Taylor Swift at all. I feel like she is she's definitely a certain brand of pop.
Mhm.
My type of pop is a little darker tones.
Like your
Yeah.
voice is deeper, or
No,
like
I
the
would
lyrics are darker,
Yeah, I would say the lyrics are darker and the
more
sound
more
of the music is a little darker and
more adult lyrics.
um I mean, what would you describe as adult lyrics? Like
No, like
profanity
yeah,
or like
profanity, sexual, maybe topics, or
I
because I
wouldn't
mean
say
that's what I would say, like as or darker could also mean like you talking about like maybe
I think she's talking about the vibe more.
yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I think it's more like a maybe instrument aspect.
Yeah,
Right.
like a tonality type thing,
Right, yeah.
instrumentation type thing, production, like darker sounding music versus like the message is not necessarily dark, but it has a lot of that dark elements to it as far as oh my gosh, this is so ambiguous. It's really hard to actually
yeah.
explain this.
I think I'm
You
just
have to listen to it.
I think I'm just clueless about music in general.
It's okay.
But moving on, moving on smartly. So earlier, right, we were talking about the uh the Kiki Palmer situation, and how she was out at the Usher concert, dancing with Usher and all that. When she has a baby father at home, she and even her, I think it was 9-month-old child, under a year-old child, and I would say that's like pretty much the highlight of the year, basically, because it just it lets us see like kind of a bad side of male and female nature, so to speak. Like, what do y'all just think about that whole thing? Like, just offer your insights. Like, what would you do in that situation? Like, ladies, put yourself in Kiki's situation, and guys, put yourself in her baby father situation.
The baby daddy, they date or no? Not anymore.
I think that I'm pretty sure they were dating.
They were dating, but
Yeah.
they split up.
Because of this situation.
I think something else happened later, and she has a restraining order, but I don't really know the details on what happened for sure. There's no proof.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out the timeline, because if this thing with Usher happened while they were together versus not.
Oh yeah, they were together.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure they were together because he wouldn't have a problem with it, and also because she's obviously not dating Usher.
Well, the dude, there
And
was
the
a
other
dude that
person
just,
who spoke up was her baby daddy. So there's no
It-
other guys that were in the situation.
It
I
seems
just
like
didn't-
his reaction sped up the split, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out if they were single versus because there was a dude that just got posted on like YG posted something on Instagram and it was somebody's baby mama just busting it open at a party.
Oh, Lord.
And a dude was like, "Hey, that's my baby mom's. Like, can you remove that?"
Dude.
But they weren't dating. That's why I was trying to figure out
Yeah.
because
No, but what would you do in that situation? I guess we can start from you, Anais. What would you do in that situation if you were Kiki and your baby daddy was like, "Oh, and she's a mother. She should be covering up." Things like that. What would you do if your baby daddy said that?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it really is hard to imagine myself in that. I guess it's hard to imagine myself in that situation with my husband because my husband is not that way at all, not possessive in that way, and very supportive of how I want to express myself. So, I don't know. I guess for me, like if I was in her situation, knowing that I'm an entertainer, and
Well, I guess since you brought up the fact that your husband's lets you, be a little more free, which is understandable, but like being in the mindset of like, so you have a baby father, right? And he's not okay with you going to Usher's concert, and he brought it up. What do you do from there? Like, what's your next step from there? Would you react like Kiki did, or would you still do something different?
how it okay, so I gotta need to know a little bit more information. How did she react exactly? I'm not super up to date on the details.
I think she lied about him committing like some assault on her or something like that at some point, because we say it's lying now because a phone call came up where it was established that she was actually the one that was being manipulative and assaulting him. They were both hurling verbal abuse at each other, but
Hmm.
she was the one that started the physical assault part. But she made a big deal and put him out there as an abuser, and all that.
Hmm. Uh, how I would react,
Yeah,
I guess.
and she also tried to like, cause he wants custody, so there's a custody battle also.
Hmm.
So she wants to sue for custody also, and he wants custody of their son.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a sounds like a pretty sticky situation. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know too much about it, but I guess if I were in a situation where like my partner really was against me being somewhere, and like again, I don't know, like maybe was she supposed to be at the concert? Like did she have a like I don't even like I really don't know much. Like why was she there, or what inclined her to be there? Like did she need to be there for her job, or
It seemed like just like a fun night, kicking back with friends, relaxing.
Yeah.
oh
that's the information I needed.
No, yeah,
yeah, I don't
yeah.
understand. Yeah, I'm like
Yeah, it was because Usher was at work. He was performing. That's why he entertained her a little bit. He did a little dance with her and whatever. He didn't do too much because he knew she had a baby daddy and she had children. We could see from I remember the video, pretty clearly. But yeah, Usher was like, he performed like a performer should, because it was working, but she was not working. She was there for God knows what, So, and we knew that she had priorities. She had a newborn at home, and so
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I see both sides of it, to be honest with you. I mean, like, I'm the kind of person, like, if my partner is like really against me being somewhere, I want to investigate, okay, why? Like, what makes you uncomfortable about it? But I also understand, like, if you're a mom and you have a newborn at home, like, sometimes you do need to get out and let loose a little bit. Like, it's stressful being a new mom. And I'm not personally a mom, but my sister just had a baby. My brother's girlfriend just had a brand new baby, and they do so much to take care of them. Sometimes like they just want a night off to like do what they want to do and have fun. So I definitely like I see both sides of the coin, and I guess for me, I would say, okay, well, like you don't want to go. Is there something else that you would want to do instead
Yeah.
together? Me as a person, I mean,
So
what?
so you wouldn't necessarily do Kiki did, but you would try to like if your significant other did not really agree with you going out like that, you would try to find an alternative, something else to do.
Yeah, I would try to find something else to do. Like if they wanted to go out, or if not, then I mean, I don't know. Like it's so hard to say something from that perspective because it's not my reality.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like I go out with my girlfriends all the time. Well, not all the time, but once in a while I go out. My husband doesn't really like to go out, and he's like, "Yeah, go have fun." And that's pretty much it. Like just let me know where you're at so I know you're safe. Let me know like with when you're on your way home and stuff like that. So
All right.
it's just a different relationship dynamic than Kiki and her baby daddy. There's not that sense of like uh there's not that sense of like possessiveness, which I'm assuming that there was in their relationship to some sense because I mean he seems like the kind of guy that would like obviously like he was upset about her outfit and other people were upset by what she wore to the outing. But yeah, that's not something that I really ever worry about.
Yeah, but is it possessiveness or is it kind of protection or is it like uh yeah, or is it like some sort of protection trying to protect your relationship? Because
I
you
don't
laughing, coach. What you
yeah.
I
laughing
really,
I don't know. I mean, like, I know not everyone's going to agree with me on
Yeah.
this. Like, for me, it's not really like, but I also have like the social awareness to understand, like, even though, like, obviously, I know that I'm going to get a little bit more attention if I'm showing more skin. But there's also a time and place to show more skin too. Like, if I'm going to a rave, like, most of the people there are wearing things that are revealing their bodies and it's totally fine. Like I personally have never encountered that in that kind of like any kind of like unwanted attention from men in that kind of scene.
Wait, so
Um
you've never had any unwanted attention from men at raves? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, no, I've had like it I've felt like very respected like
Stop the cap,
Like for
I'm
real, stop the
serious.
cap.
bro. That's crazy.
Not the caps.
There it was.
What was
I,
it?
I, wa- I
Stop the
wanted the
cap.
button, bro. I wanted it.
What?
No,
I've never experienced anything like that there. I mean, at least in my circle of friends, I usually go with a lot of friends. I'm not there by myself.
The crazy thing is, I believe her.
Mm.
Like, I believe that she hasn't felt that, but to say I have the social awareness and then say she's never felt unwanted attention is
yeah, well,
Not in those
it's either-
specific situations. Not in that environment.
it's either you didn't see it or you were like oblivious to it or something like
I mean,
that.
most people are like if you think about the kind of people that are there, they are kind of oblivious too because they're probably on like substantial amounts of drugs.
Yeah, yeah, that they are.
I mean, I know.
That they are. That they are. All right, what about you, Nicole?
Okay.
So what do you think about the whole situation? Like, put yourself in Kiki's shoes.
Okay, well, I didn't really know who Kiki was until today, and all of the information that I have was based on what you guys told me. So,
I mean, just like take the names out of it, take the celebrities out of it. Just like
yeah.
put yourself like
So, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I was gonna say that it is multifaceted because there's three sides to the story. There's her side, his side, and then the truth.
True.
And to me, it's just like practicing compassion in a sense of, okay, she recently had a baby. That's a baby that she carried in her body for about 9 months or so, and her body changed. And maybe it's like a statement that she was making for herself and not for anybody else, to feel beautiful.
She couldn't feel, or baby daddy couldn't make her feel beautiful.
Well, I mean, it's not about like relying on another person for that. Like, women can either dress for external validation or dress for themselves.
How do you think she was dressed for? Is it external validation or for herself?
Honestly, if her baby daddy didn't
Yeah, because
approve, then it was probably for herself.
because I could tell you. I mean, I remember what she was dressed. She was dressed in like some fishnet stuff, some very revealing
she
clothing.
was dressed how you think she was.
Yeah,
dressed.
very revealing
Yeah.
clothing. So
Mhm.
how is that necessarily for herself when she got that attention from a very valuable man? She got that attention from Usher
Yeah.
and just from everybody else around her.
Mhm.
So how can we say it's for herself when we saw that reaction from everybody else?
Well, I mean, people can react, but at the end of the day, like she has to own her own decision and feel good in her body. And this is something that
You
I
can't,
mean,
you
I
can't do
haven't.
that from the comfort of your home.
Well, I haven't personally experienced having a baby or anything like that. Postpartum also exists, so we don't necessarily know how she was feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of moving parts to it, and maybe some unresolved issues, a lot of emotions that she wasn't dealing with, and this was her way of coping with it. But that was her choice.
Mhm. So I see y'all like
Yeah.
giving her that support
But the thing,
because she's a new mom.
yeah, not even that. Like, I think that there's reasons for excuses, but it was her choice, and I think that whatever she decided to do, she's not harming anyone. Like, is she just like hurting people's eyes with what she was wearing? Is she not allowed to do that? You know,
Say it
like,
again.
was she hurting anybody? Like, was she,
She hurt her baby daddy and her son.
But that's the thing though, like, so moving to the baby daddy, like, I'm not saying that I don't want to play like good person, bad person. For that, like, I think it's like exploring why he felt that way. Like, is it because he was trying to protect her reputation? Did he feel slighted? Did he feel like it was a form of infidelity or anything? Or, like, what was his upbringing?
Well, if you
Yeah.
like, if you look at social media nowadays, right? We see people that go viral for doing things like that, for doing, let's say, sexual explicit things,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really blasted out there and went viral. Basically, let's
Mm-hmm.
say we go all the way back from to Kim Kardashian and the Ray J thing, that kind of blasted out. Stormy or whatever her kid's name. Those kids are never gonna have a normal childhood, right? And even other people that have gone viral for doing similar, similar things.
Okay,
So
well,
I think you could
yeah.
like look at it from that perspective, and also being.
I think there's one thing that might help put
Yeah.
a little light on
Go
the
ahead, bro.
situation is that he's basically like a stay-at-home dad, and she's like a B-list actress or like a lower A class. So I think that might inform the way they're moving, the way they're both moving, in a few ways.
Okay. Well, I did want to say when you said, about children and upbringing, let's be real, who has had a perfect life? Like, they don't have to be on camera, but there's some sort of dysfunction in everybody's life that they have to deal with at some point. And
Yeah,
that's just the truth.
yeah, but you can't see everybody's dysfunction in live TV and fucking national TV.
Yeah, but does everybody care about reputation? Because I don't. I personally don't.
I mean,
It's funny.
Yeah.
I get it that it's like it's gonna be pretty challenging for you to put yourself in that situation, especially that they're so. It's at another level, you know. But yeah, what do you think, Colton?
All right, let's
Put
get
yourself in that
both
situation.
of them took the L.
Okay.
That's what it is. Because thank you. Because the dude already impregnated her, and
Mhm.
he didn't wife her. Honestly, it's probably better that he didn't, because it would have looked even worse.
True.
Her doing that, I mean, bro, I don't know. I'm of the belief, like, it's the same reason I'm scared to have a kid, because I know when I have a kid, it's a wrap for anything I want to do for myself. So, like, the postpartum thing and all that is what it is. But, like, I think she had talked about, what did she want to do? Like, sometimes moms need to have a night off and stuff like that. That's just not the night off, like, activity. And I know she was saying she wouldn't have done it like that or whatever. But I mean, the dude just takes an L too, because that's who he got pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta be better, like, vetting who you're gonna have kids with, by accident or not. Every time you sleep with a girl, like, there's that potential.
Mhm.
So
So
yeah, I look at it as both of them.
so what would you do like after the video blew up, and you were like, hey, she shouldn't be doing that. She should be covering up more, and she tried to sue you and make false
Oh.
allegations about you. What would you do after that? After all that came out?
So you're saying I publicly
Yeah.
said she needs to cover up.
Well, I'm just saying, put yourself in his situation. You've done all
And I've
that,
already
and
done
we are where we are now, where she's trying to sue for.
Wait,
for-
what is she suing him for?
Yeah, she's made allegations about him being abusive, using committing verbal abuse with the child while all the child is in the room, something like that, and hitting her, all that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, honestly, I drag her name through the mud.
So you do.
Yeah, if we're both gonna do it, we're both gonna do it, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a bad situation, but yeah, I mean, specifically with her just going to an Usher concert, dancing. Was she dancing on him or no? She was just dancing and it got caught on video.
I'm pretty sure she was dancing on him, right?
If I remember right, Usher was performing and he was dancing on her. But
Yeah, but that's Usher going after.
yeah.
Yeah, he's just doing his thing.
Yeah, for real.
But nah, yeah, it's an L on both of them. I mean, like also to like be a mom doing that, like you said, you don't really care about reputation, and that's fine. But like, I don't want to be out with like somebody that's acting like a hoe. I mean, I really don't. Like it is what it is.
What you gotta say, man?
Oh, all I was gonna say was just like, so when Usher was, performing, your response was he was just doing his thing. So why can't we just be like, well, Kiki was just doing her thing. Why can't we
Because
just
who-
let that alone? Yeah.
Well, first, Usher's performing at his own concert that he's throwing. She's knowingly in a relationship with another dude who's the dad, who isn't there, and I mean, based on what I'm assuming on what she's wearing, I don't know. I mean, it goes back to the unwanted attention thing. No, you're good. You can talk.
I was just gonna say that. Well, Usher, doesn't he have kids too? And does he have a wife?
It's not the same for girls and guys.
But why? Like, I mean, he was still,
Welcome to life.
I mean, if she is an actress and stuff like that, and that's like publicity, just because it wasn't her concert, she was just doing her thing, and he's doing his thing, and they're both in that world. So why is it acceptable for a guy to do that as a profession, but not a girl?
No, we're not saying that it's a bad profession or anything like that. We're saying that, let's say you're at work, right? Like you do yoga and all that, right? Let's say you're a yoga instructor and you're at your job, right? But your significant other came through trying to teach your yoga class or something like that, and give yoga lessons, and be like, no, you can't do that. So Usher was at work. He was doing his job. Kiki was not at work, so it's not as understood that she can be doing all the things, all the freedoms that Usher has, because he's got all that freedom because he's at work. That's what performers do. They dance with the crowd. They entertain the crowd. They just do entertaining stuff to make it go viral. But Kiki, she wasn't necessarily doing the same thing.
Yeah.
She was not at work.
But the thing is, as an entertainer, when a camera is on you, that's still like an opportunity to gain followers.
Not all followers are good followers.
That's true.
I guess, okay.
But
And
everybody's just trying to make money.
what about you, Carlos? Put yourself in the situation. What would you do, man?
I think it just really depends on the facts, to be honest. It's like, honestly, like Kiki's in a relationship, then like, and her boyfriend doesn't feel comfortable with it. That's up to you between her boyfriend and her, in my opinion. Like, what are their boundaries? Like, did they ever have a did he ever say like, hey, I don't like that Usher dude, so I don't want you to be hanging out with him? Or did he ever be like, hey, I don't like it when you dress like this when you go out? Like, that doesn't make me feel comfortable. Like, did you ever have like that conversation beforehand? Because I feel like, I go to clubs and I see like, very gorgeous women wearing some very gorgeous outfits, and they got a husband and they got a wife, or like they got a girlfriend or they got a boyfriend. And like, obviously I would be like, oh my God, they look gorgeous. But at the end of the day, like, she ain't hitting on me. She ain't even looking my way. Maybe that's my fault. Who knows? But the problem, most of the time, at the end of the night, she's walking away with him. So I think that's like, it really just depends between them in the relationship. Like, what did they ever have a previous conversation behind that? Obviously, sometimes there is common sense, but like at this point, when we're like in 2023, we got like people like a decent story is like that made me laugh the other day is that like one of my girlfriends, she was asked out, even though she made it public that she was in a relationship. But he said, "Hey, since it's 2023 and open relationships are a thing, I would just like to know, are you in an open relationship? Because I would love to take you out on a date." And that made me laugh because the thing is, like, we're at this point in society where like boundaries and like relationships are just up to personal people now, and a lot of times people will just be like, "Hey, this is just what we do," and I'll be like, "Cool, wouldn't let that shit happen to me." But cool, that's up to y'all. And if that makes y'all happy, if being in an open relationship makes you happy, then if that conversation has been held between y'all, then I'm not gonna judge. That one makes y'all happy, and that one makes y'all relationship work. That's about it.
See, this is why I said it was an L for the dude, though, because, based on what you said, did they have these conversations? But based on the situation, what Desmond said, if he's a stay-at-home dad and he don't got a job or income, he's not going to speak up for himself. He's really not, because the only thing that could do is upset her and, get out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he might not be speaking up. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
possible.
That's an L on both of them though, because like they're both adults. They're
For
like
sure.
like it's on both of them to have that conversation when it
Mhm.
comes to relationships. It's like it's not just an L on the dude, it's an L on the woman too. It's like because like if they're not having that proper conversation, then they need to work on having these tough conversations before they
For
do
sure.
anything, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So around the room, should he have addressed it publicly or privately, like when it first started?
Mm.
Wait, before or after the incident?
After the Usher incident, should he have addressed it publicly or privately?
Privately, of
Yeah,
course.
privately for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Probably.
I think like it's also just a personal thing. Like I'm the type of person who'll say like, "Hey, if I'm in a relationship with you, I'm never going to have my fights public because like I want to keep my relationship as private as possible because like to me that's something sacred."
I disagree because at the point where she's at that Usher concert,
She just made it public.
yeah, she just made it fucking public. So next thing bro gotta do is get his fucking kid, right, and get the heck out of there because I mean, if I remember correctly, he had his own thing going on, right? But he's just not on that Key Palmer level, so he could have been self sufficient and all that. So so I think he should have sued for child support and made it public, not try to fix it or talk about it privately. So yeah, I think he messed up at not vetting his woman before he got with her or had a child with her. But I mean, at the point where he's at right now, he's got to be public with it. He's got to sue for child support and all that.
You said something interesting though
Go
that I'd like to comment on. So you think that him going right for the jugular and suing right away is like the best way to handle a conflict like that in a relationship?
Yes, because at the level that she's brought it to, because you can't deal with that relationship like a normal one. Normal one, yeah, you could talk it out, but she's a celebrity. Everything is
But I feel like it's simpler too. Like I understand the celebrity aspect for sure. Like I definitely think that's a factor. But when it comes down to it, like the end of the day, it's communication. Like if I make a mistake or I do something my husband doesn't like the last thing I should be concerned about is my husband just straight up making like a public scene about this mistake or something that I did that he didn't like, or vice versa. Like I would never, because I care about him as a person and I care about his dignity and respect as well. Even if he did something that I wasn't okay with, I would never want to publicly put him on blast or vice versa. Like I don't think that's a right way to handle it in any relationship. I feel like yeah, I don't know. Like that's kind of my take on it. Like regardless of who's in the wrong, I feel like that's something you should deal with as a couple now, whether or not that they had the best communication or they were a healthy relationship. Obviously, I think they weren't if it took something like that to kind of like break everything off.
yeah, exactly. They were not on that
Mhm.
speaking terms. That's why I said that it's you have to vet the person that you're in a relationship with before you go to the level of having children with them because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they should have been in the talking kind of relationship where they're able to let their boundaries known from the get-go, right? Okay, you can be out there looking crazy, especially when we've got kids. You can be out there dressing, scantily, and all that. So
Yeah.
they should have let their boundaries known from the get-go.
Well, the thing is, it's like you can vet for someone, but people change. So this is like two people have to work and lean in and also communicate because miscommunications can happen. So it's not like people are just trying to hurt each other. Like they definitely created a baby. So at some point they truly did love each other.
Right.
So that's why I think that
I wouldn't say all babies are created out of
that's
love.
true. You
I'd
but
say more than half on her.
well, the thing is, it's like, yeah, but there's some sort of attraction, you know.
Lust.
Sort
Right.
yeah.
They were
Right.
planning on getting married
Yeah.
too. Like I remember her talking about a wedding at some point. So I definitely don't think it was just lust in that situation.
Man, women say
but-
a lot of things, man.
like what?
No, like just anything. Like, oh, we should get married. We should do this. We should do that. People say a lot of different things that they don't really mean. So, especially women.
Or why do you think, especially women?
Dudes do too.
Well,
Man,
yeah,
why?
yeah. You know what? Actually,
I think more dudes.
yeah,
to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. It's right. Yeah. Because,
Because you got to say what you got to do.
Yeah.
To get what you want. That's just
Yeah.
how it is.
yeah,
Dudes really cap a lot.
yeah. No, facts. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. He's right. Yeah. All right. So, speaking in the realm of kind of betrayal, and I guess the baby daddy feels betrayed, and all that. That Kiki went out there looking crazy, while they had a child. Have y'all ever been betrayed by a friend or let's say significant other, and like they're just out there making you look bad out there, or like just abusing your kindness or something like that?
Hmm.
I don't know if you call yourself kind. I just put that out there, but just abusing your trust basically, and they just betray that trust you have for them.
Hmm. There's one thing that comes to mind, unless anyone else has another.
No, go ahead.
Not a partner, because I actually, surprisingly, I haven't had that with anyone I've dated. I don't know, it's dodge some bullets, I guess, but
Okay.
really I think really with my family more
So-
than anything.
So you're saying all your relationships in the past have been like pretty much perfect. There's
No,
no
I'm not saying perfect, but there
no
wasn't.
wrongdoings.
No, not that there was wrongdoing, but you're specifically asking like where they betrayed my trust.
Yeah, there's any
So-
sort of betrayal.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, I've never like no one's cheated in my relationships. Like they were always faithful, and I'm not gonna say they're perfect. There were other things wrong, but I wouldn't say it was betrayal that was a part of that, or like I didn't feel betrayed by any of them. But like I said, like the time that I did feel betrayed was and again, I come from a very religious background, so like drinking alcohol was taboo. And I was actually I was drinking a Dos Equis at one point. just one. And
Ah,
what?
And what religion was that?
I would say it's like oh god. I'm saying this on the internet. But it was kind of a branch of Christianity, I guess, like Messianic Judaism. No longer, I don't ascribe to that anymore, but very like fundamentalist type of worldview. And so, like I said, I was actually a worship leader at this event, and I had a little bit of a beer at part of the night, and a lot of people were. So I'm just like having a good time, and
every woman there was trash.
some people were definitely trash. I wasn't. I literally had just started drinking like one Dos Equis, and I think the next day, like the pastor or whatever you want to call him, the leader, decided to make a whole sermon about like why if you're a worship leader, you shouldn't be drinking at all. And so,
Gotcha.
and so I'm just like, why does it like everyone else is drinking? Like, what does it matter? Like, you're the like he was a pastor and he was also enjoying an alcoholic beverage.
What the
And-
fuck does that mean?
Oh, really?
So yeah, so I at the thing, and I'm getting to the betrayal, but apparently someone that was like also at that event like started like went up to my dad because my parents were there. I had aunts and uncles and like cousins, so there was probably about 20 of my own family members there. um and my like this one guy like went up to my dad and started talking like a bunch of mess to my dad about me and like saying all these kinds of terrible things. And I felt betrayed by my family because no one out of all of the family members I had, no one stuck up for me and said, "How like no, like that's not the kind of person she is. She's literally just drank one Dos Equis. Like what is the big deal?" And nobody did that. Like nobody stuck up for me and they let like this dude say whatever they wanted about me. So that's the betrayal that I've experienced, at least the one that comes to mind.
So he was out there gossiping falsely about you, huh?
Right, exactly.
Was it like all false, or was it like some bit of truth in there, but he just kind of went extravagant about it, like he exaggerated?
No, I wouldn't like none of it was true. It was just him kind of creating a story about the person that I was based on like that he saw me drinking a beer. So yeah, exactly. So I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, like when you come from that kind of background, like you really see like the ugly underbelly that there really is in a lot of religions, and that was part of it. It was like I couldn't just be who like myself. I couldn't be myself in that environment. I couldn't just, you know, enjoy myself with my family and friends. You know, someone had to come and try to be like dogmatic about what was going on. And yeah, so
All right, Nicole.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty, but I think the common denominator would be trusting someone and hoping that they won't hurt you, right? So at some point or another, people are bound to weaponize your vulnerabilities, and that just I'm realizing that has less to do with me and more to do with where they're at in their life, whatever insecurity or hurt they're not processing. Because it's just like this fear, this threat, like this feeling of I'm threatened by someone, right? Or jealousy or something like that. So I think it's more so of like how I can healthily respond to that in a sense of not retaliating, but just knowing their place in my life. Yeah.
So who specifically are you talking about that betrayed you? That friend, or it could also be significant other?
Well, I mean, it's definitely not my current significant other. He's cool. But in the past, I mean, I can't really pinpoint just one. I'm just like remembering times where that has happened. But if I really sit with it, I realize that the only reason that that even happened was because I wasn't as aware as I could have been. And at some point or another, there was self-betrayal because I didn't follow my gut, from the get-go of like, okay, I feel this. Maybe I shouldn't have trusted this person with this information too soon. But I was just looking for that comfort that I could have given myself.
But what happened?
I just want to belong, right? So like Maslow's hierarchy, the bottom one is just like security, right? Or food, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the second one is just like having a home, shelter. The third one up is belonging. So like in a community, like who am I? Who are my people? And just falling into people's highlight reels, just trying to just fit into a box that wasn't necessarily for me. And just, I mean, the signs are always there, you can't just vet for people by their cover. Like you see their actions and their patterns.
So you got cheated on?
Like I'm trying
Yeah,
to
what the fuck are you talking about?
I wasn't really thinking about that, but yeah, at some point, yeah. Well,
I just felt like you were bouncing around the stuff and you wouldn't say it. That's how you said what happened.
much.
no, that wasn't it. I mean, I was like thinking about just like a specific, well, it's not even a specific friend, but just like, like the people or even family members, so it just happens. But then it's like people are going to hurt you even if they don't want to. It's just that they're unskillful and sometimes they're just not aware of what they're saying, right?
Mm.
So that self-betrayal or that betrayal comes from like a point of ignorance.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Colton.
Bet, bro. I trusted someone, and I was kind of like loyal to a fault. Got cheated on back in the day, like high school years. It was one of those. She was like, "Yeah, I think we need to take a break." We had been dating for like 5 years, so I took it as like she was like, "Yeah, let's do this for like a month." I was playing football at the time in college, so I didn't know where really for me to go because college football is like a real job. You know what I mean? So for me, she was like 3-4 hours away at her college. She was like, "Hey, I met this dude. His name's Alex. He's real cool, yada, yada." And they would just hang out. And it was always me like, okay, well, like, what are y'all doing? Like now I see him posting on Snapchat at, Six Flags, this, that. It was just like normal stuff, but it was just me, kind of just not, it's like a trust thing, but it was also like in the back of my mind, I was like, this has got to be going on. You know what I mean? So it was just one of those things. And, in her eyes, she was like, I didn't cheat on you because this happened whenever I said we were going to take a break. And, but fuck that. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So basically, that you put too much trust on your ex, and she just did you dirty.
Yeah, and it was more like a comfortability situation. I think a lot of people don't, even though you need to get out of something, it's like it's something different is like scary to people sometimes. Like even if it's the right thing to do, it's like it's just unknown. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that's why you have a lot of people stay in relationships where on the outside in, you're like, what are you doing? Like this dude or this girl may be doing this,
Right.
and they're obviously taking advantage of you. And you're telling me they're doing this,
Yeah.
but you won't leave. And outside looking in, and later on, you just see how like honestly stupid you were in that situation.
Yeah.
So, but during it, it's a whole different animal.
It's all just comfortability. You were comfortable in that situation, so that's why you
Right.
stayed in it.
Right.
Are you, Carlos?
I think I have the courage to say that like no one has truly betrayed me. There have been times where I felt betrayed, but honestly, I feel like if I were to say like who has betrayed me the most, I'll probably just point at myself, to be honest. Bouncing
Fine.
out,
okay.
like,
Fine.
bouncing
That's a
out.
dude answer, though. That's a dude answer.
I'll talk about it though. How'd you betray yourself?
I feel like there's just a lot of situations. I'm like recently I feel like I've realized I have like a tendency to be a huge people pleaser. So I put a lot of people's needs before myself. I would usually consider myself last. So therefore I feel like there's always going to be like this tendency to just self-betray more than anything else, or like not even that, but like not even just being a people pleaser. But I guess going into a little bit deeper about myself, it's like back when I was young and like I turned 22, I actually had like an emotional affair on like my last serious relationship, where like my last serious relationship caught me like just sending for text to another girl, and like honestly like looking back at it, that's a huge self-betrayal. Obviously, also betrayal on like my ex at that time. But like a self-betrayal in itself as well, because that's not holding myself to the standards of what I believe is the ideal version of me. Because recently I been reading a lot, and one of my favorite things about regret, it says that the reason why we feel regret is because our current version of ourselves is not acting within accordance of our ideal version of ourselves. So I would say like self-betrayal is probably like the biggest thing that I've done.
Okay. All right, so let's move to a more fun topic. Well, what are y'all saying? What's y'all saying that is like the biggest red flag in dating nowadays? Like it could be the way somebody dress, a certain group of people, a certain race, any red flag you see out there, and you're like saying, "Hey man, y'all just steer clear of this shit. It's not good for you. Just fucking stay away."
I mean, I'm biased because I worked in the club industry, but
Yeah, go ahead. That means you see the real.
yeah, I see this.
That means you see the real
So,
right there.
yeah, I mean, I'd say if they're going out to the club every weekend, really, like if you're in a relationship and you're not going out with your significant other to a like out to the club with you, It's dirty games out there, bro.
Yeah,
I've seen some crazy,
bruh.
like foul stuff. I done seen girls come back to back to back days with different dudes, and you find out
Yo,
that there's a whole nother dude funding their lifestyle. Like,
it is wild.
I mean, you play the cards you're dealt or whatever, but like, especially when you work in the industry, like we see this stuff, and we're just like, dang, bro, like you don't know,
Yeah.
but it's not my place to say it. But at the same time, it's like
Man,
I would want somebody to tell something to me. But a lot of these
Exactly.
dudes that are taking these girls out like that, they don't care either because
Yeah.
they're just washing their hands.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how they treat it. You know what I mean?
yeah, they just glad to get some sort of her attention.
They're really both using each other, and they both know it. I think so. Is it even exchange? Probably not, but
Yeah.
whatever. They're just playing the cards they're
Yeah,
dealt.
it even speaks on the Kiki situation. Like, if you're out there, I think if you're out there clubbing at all, it's red flag. It's no, it's a goddamn no go in my book. But yeah, go ahead, man. Shoot.
I guess like my question is like, so if you had a girlfriend, you wouldn't let her go to the club at all,
Well, not without me.
even if it's like her girlfriend's friend or
No.
something like that.
No.
And it's like just
I
a group
like-
of, like
That's
20
it.
girls.
The girls' trips, shit canned.
I'm
No, sir.
I'm in that industry. You know, I'm
No, sir.
I can't wait till y'all are in like serious relationships because
That's why you don't see me.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
that's-
change.
it's
That
probably-
will
Bro, if you
definitely
knew
change.
my
it's probably
like,
never gonna happen.
if you knew my minimum like standard, I'm not crazy enough to even try to date someone seriously in this climate.
Yeah,
Like
no, it's
I
a
know
no-go.
what I would ask of a girl, and I haven't even brought myself up to that value to even ask that. So I'm not even going to entertain
Yeah.
like a serious relationship because the first thing I ask, 90%, 95% of girls is going to be like, get out of here.
Yeah. No. It's a no go. I like I said earlier, I'm involved in that scene. I'm a club promoter, you know, we go out for the podcast, network, things like that. But the kind of girls that I would take serious, I would not find them out there. So no, never. So what about you though, man? What red flags do you see out there that you're like gonna tell people to watch out for?
You know, I gotta think very through that question, to be honest. 'Cause, like, I feel like there are red flags that, like, you know, you can see like when you first meet a person, and there's just red flags where you start dating them for a while, and you're like, oh my god, I have not realized that red flag, or I have not seen that red flag until I got to know you seriously.
Well, just like in your whole dating experience, relationship experience, life experience, put all that together. What red flag do you see out there? And you're like, man, I done see this shit repeat too many times, and y'all just gotta steer clear of that shit.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
So like, because you're saying whenever you date someone, what's a red flag like that down the line that you're like, I didn't see that at first. So my question would be, how long do you talk to someone exclusively before you are publicly claiming them as like your significant other? That's what I would say. Because a lot of my stuff is like, I'm already going to see down the road when I'm talking to them that, yeah, that's a red flag.
So like minimum time just talking to them, or minimum time just dating them before I see. I think that's like.
Well, I guess I guess before you're talking to them and like you're telling people, oh yeah, me and this girl are talking, because you obviously, let's say a weekend, you wouldn't come up to me and be like, yeah, I'm dating this girl or whatever. You know what I mean? So I guess that's why I ask, because to me, there's not a lot of stuff down the line that I'll see that I'm like, that's a red flag. Because if I'm already in a relationship, I've vetted pretty hard.
I would say minimum 3 months before I make any relationship public, to be honest, because I feel like that's a good amount of time. There's a lot of people say like the 12 to 8 date rules. So like not dates. So it's
Oh.
like going on like 8 dates or to 12 dates. And they don't even have to be like, 8 weeks of dating. You can be like, let's say like you spend like 4 hours to like 8 hours with one person. Like let's say you get dinner and then you go to like a jazz club together. I count that as 2 dates.
Okay.
So I would say like
You're
3
like
months,
1,000
8 to
in the
12.
hole right there.
Hmm?
You're like 1,000 in the hole out in Dallas right there. Crazy.
I mean, man, I have so many red flags. There's so many red flags I would probably put out there.
All right, give us 3 then. Give us 3.
I guess the number one would be they don't have a job.
All right, that's a good one.
They don't have a job.
Yeah.
number two, I think, is also a really big one for me, is they don't have any friends. So like, okay, like there's a reason they don't have a community. Like that's from my perspective, like looking in, like why don't they have friends? Like, do they
How many?
like
Everyone's
or
tired
have-
of their shit.
yeah, either yeah, right. Everyone's like tired of them, or
Goddamn
okay, maybe
asshole.
they're not like a good friend to keep around, or like what's going on here. So that's if maybe if thinking of okay, what would I add if there's another one?
Are your friends like that? Because you must see this, or people that you've dated, maybe even.
Oh yeah, I mean,
They didn't have a job, they didn't have friends.
yeah,
What kind
I
of
mean,
people you have around you?
yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah. I mean, not now, but
Thank
at a
God.
time, I did, yeah, for sure. At a time, I did. I mean, someone I did date, he did not have a job. And but I like this really goes back to me. He was kind of pushed on me by like the religious group that I was with at the time, and so I was kind of like
She was
brainwashed.
in cult.
I know, like it was a cult in its own way. Like I know it wasn't like I wouldn't say it was the most radical one out there. Like there was never like anything super crazy, but like it was the subliminal like things like that. Like oh, this
That
is
should
the
have been your fun
person.
fact right there. You were in a cult. You were in a cult.
I guess it's fun. I wouldn't consider it
Damn, you were a
fun.
leader in that. Dang.
I was not a cult leader, definitely not.
Crazy.
But yeah, no, I would say like yeah, this person was pushed on me. And uh initially I was not very attracted to that person, but everyone's like, "Oh, this is the guy that God wants you to be with, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Okay, well then why am I so unhappy in this relationship?" Like and it caused a lot of inner turmoil for me, and it was really difficult for me to and I think that's the biggest thing with any kind of ideology that you ascribe to, whether that's Christian or Catholic, like I guess it's essentially still Christian, like a Muslim, Jewish, like whatever you want to ascribe yourself to. That's really the pitfall. It's like you are outsourcing your autonomy to an ideology, and I think that's where a lot of the problems and the mess can really come in. It's teaching you not to trust in yourself, and it's teaching you not to pay attention to your feelings and what's happening in the inside, and it's forcing you to repress a lot of that. And so I think that's when it gets really dangerous. And I guess maybe that leads me to the third red flag. I guess maybe someone who's too involved in their religious organization, or
Okay.
they use that to
Haram!
or they use that to control other people.
Wait, too
Uh,
involved in their what?
And too involved in their like religious organization to where like that's their
Okay.
identity.
She means cult.
Yeah.
Too involved in their cult. Okay.
I mean, that can be anything. It doesn't like. I mean, like cult can be
So no
defined very
CrossFit?
loosely. I mean, hey, if you're at CrossFit every single day, you're not spending time with me. Yeah, that's a problem. But yeah, I guess that's what I would have to say. Like, just like how like don't outsource your intuition and your autonomy to any group. And I think it's a red flag when people do that. So.
Okay. Nicole.
So I've been thinking about this, but then I guess my honest answer would be just to like I don't know, like I just like default to like working on myself. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like
So that's a
looking
red
at-
flag. Working on yourself is a red flag.
no, I meant like in a way of just like it doesn't set the tone in a right way to just look for the wrongs in someone. You know, it's good, you're gonna see it no matter what. And it's not about right or wrong, as in you're gonna label somebody as a bad person. You know, it's just like everybody has
What?
well, everybody has unhealed trauma.
Bro, what are you
It's just
talking about,
like,
man?
are they working on it? Are they trying to process it? Are they owning it? So I guess it would be is the main one would be if they're unwilling. That would be a red flag. I look at green flags more. Like, you know, how willing is this person to, you know, like grow with me, but if they're not looking within themselves to see certain things or talk about, what's really going on, then to me, that's like a red flag, because that person could be having flashbacks and they're never going to know, and they're going to keep gaslighting you.
So bad communication. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not even bad communication. It's about like, can they lean in and actually take accountability of, how they're feeling and what they're doing? Are they aware?
Okay. Being aware of your emotions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or basically, like, it's like, to thy own self be true. So are they being true to who they are? Or do they even know if they're just doing things based on what other people are saying or what society is saying because it's normal, like going back to Kiki, like that's her like true self or whatever, but people are just like judging her, right? So to me, it's more so of like, so that would be one. Another would be somebody who can't or chooses to not respect you, right? That's very big. Respect, what you think. When you can agree to disagree, you don't have to be in alignment with everybody's like opinion, but can they hold space for what you're thinking and feeling and respect that, right? So disrespect would be a red flag.
Okay. I think you have some now.
I guess, like, how long does it take you to figure out if that person doesn't uphold to those standards?
I mean, again, like, people change. You just see what they're doing. Like, what do they do? I mean, like, somebody can go to the club, but, like, have you ever asked, like, why do you keep doing this? Like, what is it that you're trying to distract yourself from? Because sometimes it's not about ostracizing that person. Like, they don't belong. It's more like, oh, well, what's going on, right? So, and just saying whatever you want to say, right? And then just like giving them that space to actually explore that for themselves.
I guess my question to you would be, do you need to be their training wheels, or should you just let them know and split and let them figure that out on their own time being single? Or do you want to be the one to guide them while they figure out those red flags and test them on you?
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's just like, I mean, I'm not going to personally have them as my boyfriend or like my husband or something, but I can be a friend, but if it's too much, then I'm obviously going to draw a boundary, but I'm not going to judge them like they, like, okay, I don't like you, go, that kind of thing. It's more so of just having that compassion that that person is really hurting and they don't really want to sit with it. So maybe that's why they keep going to the club, or they don't feel seen, right? Maybe Kiki didn't feel seen, and that's what she thought that she had to do in order to get attention.
Oh yeah, and what she did was the red flag. That's why all these people are like looking at it like it's backwards. Like, what are you doing, Kiki? That's why.
Yeah.
That's why they're looking at it that way. That's why her man at that moment, he had such a huge problem with it.
But my thought around that is, like, earlier you said that's not normal, but sometimes like people do normal things, and normal is like a large consensus what the majority is doing, but it doesn't mean it's right. Like, a lot of people were judging her, and judging people isn't right.
I disagree with that.
Go ahead, man.
I mean,
Give some insight.
I mean, if you're not judging things and people every day, then you're gonna potentially end up in some bad situations. Like, it's natural to judge. I think that we get we've got in the social media era of like these motivational pages and stuff like that are like, just block your man or block your ex and you win the argument. Like, I think that falls under the like, don't judge people and treat people how you want to be treated. But I don't know how you want to be treated. You know what I mean? People are weird. Like, there's people out here that like getting booted in the nuts, bro. I don't want you. You know what I mean? I don't want you doing that to me.
No, yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
These nuts.
Yeah, exactly. But no, seriously, I think that it's not. I think it's responsible to judge people to an extent. You know what I mean? Because you could, like I said, you could end up in some real crazy situations if you're just like, nah, man, I'm gonna look at the best in this situation, and then you wake up mugged or some crazy shit.
Well,
No,
no,
You know what I mean? And I'm taking it to an extreme for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't know. I think you're
Well,
super
yeah.
sweet, so I think that this is a hard conversation for me to have with you because I feel like I would hurt people's feelings.
No,
Yeah,
but,
yeah. So what do you
no,
guys say
okay,
about that,
so
Nicole?
what I was gonna say was when I hear you speaking right now, what I'm hearing is that's discernment. And there's a difference between judgment and discernment. Like one is very prejudiced, while the other is just knowing yourself and knowing, like, I can see that, oh my gosh, this person is not in alignment with the path that I want to walk. Therefore, I'm not going, that person is not my responsibility. My only responsibility in this life is me.
I mean, that's all
So,
red flags are, is discernment. It's knowing from past experiences, I don't want to deal with this in my
Pretty
life.
much.
but
Pretty
the
much.
thing is, that can also like bite you in the ass though, because if it's all about like the past and you're not allowing somebody to be that person, then you're putting on this lens just because this person likes the same thing that my ex did. Oh crap, like
But
they're
if it's the same
people.
bad action, then
Well, I mean, so we have to be specific with behavior, but we're just like, it's sometimes we have to the thing is we judge others based on their actions, but we judge ourselves based on our intent. So it's like, what was this person's intent? And do I believe them? Because if I don't trust that person, then I shouldn't be with them. Like if I don't believe what they're saying.
Well, yeah, you can try to be like, okay, I don't know their intent, so I'm not really gonna use that discernment on them. But you can't necessarily read everybody's minds. You can't know everybody's intent, what
Or
they
even
plan to
expect them
do.
to be honest about the intent, really.
Well,
Yeah, yeah, or even that. So I think that's where discernment and I mean, I'm gonna be honest and say that's where prejudice comes in.
Well, that's the thing though, like again, circling back to ignorance, because like somebody can have like Anise can really, really care about me, right? But if she's not like, or even like she really, really like I really, really care about music too. But if I'm unskillful in singing, just because my heart is like, yes, like I love this, doesn't mean that I have the skills to actually, like create something harmonious. So it's like an analogy towards like people can have like pure intent, but if they don't have the skills and they were never taught at home or at school or anything, then they're shit out of luck, right? So like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I think I want to add something to that too, because
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like this kind of like
Yeah.
helps bring more clarity to what you're saying too. But like, I think, yeah, I'm the only married person at this table, so I feel like I have a little bit of perspective on this.
right, go ahead.
But I think another way to kind of say what Nicole's saying is like not everyone is just gonna have like straight green flags too. Like everyone is a red flag. Like like some people, like if let's say I was single, I'm a music artist, that might be a red flag for some people. Like some people are like, oh, they're a musician, or like you're a rapper, like, oh, they're a rapper, like I'm gonna date a rapper, or like, oh, they do, like, you know what, like my green flag to me is not going to be a green flag to somebody else. And so like I guess with my relationship with my husband, I'm not going to say like there were some things I'm like, dude, like, I mean, we're not perfect, and I'm pretty sure there were things that he was like, oh, I don't really like, what's up with that. But it's also like understanding, okay, like where is the core of this person headed? Like, okay, they said like this one thing that really pissed me off, or like this one thing that they do, it just really irritates me. Like, is that
Oh, damn, I thought she was talking about right now. I was like, let's hear it.
oh no. But yeah, like it's in relationships, so you get to know someone and you decide like, okay, what's something that I can live with the rest of my life type thing. Is this too much of a red flag that I can't compromise on this for
Yeah.
my whole life? And I think that's what it comes down to, like when you're in a committed relationship. Like, what are you going to be okay with forever? Because the person that you're with is never going to be 100% perfect. They're never going to always make you happy, and that's too much of a burden to place on someone else.
Yeah.
I, I think she's right. I
Uh-huh.
just think that from what I've seen, and again, I'm going from my own perspective where I work and stuff. Guys are willing to compromise a lot more than girls
Mm.
in this dating scene. It's different because you're married and you've been married for 4 years. You know what I mean, right? 4, you said.
Yeah, for
I just think it's different because, yeah, like what I may see as a red flag instantly, a girl might be like, you're not going to tell me what to do.
Mm.
Like, you're not. And that happens a lot more, I think, than somebody like that. Somebody who's married may realize. Like, that's happening a lot now,
Especially
nowadays.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is,
Yeah.
because I mean, like I said, my number one thing, which I'm aware how crazy this is, my number one thing is when I get to a level where I can provide, and I know I can, the only thing that, and it's going to be a strong word by saying allow, but the only way I would allow my girl to have an Instagram is if she's making money through fitness. That's it. If you're not, no Instagram. That's the biggest dating platform in the world. What do
Even-
you really need an Instagram for?
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
be honest.
Oh, really?
I think I would say that's a red flag for me.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, for sure. And like, I understand everyone's gonna have their preferences. Like, maybe you just need to find a girl who's not
But
into social media
I would
at
have
all.
to ask what made that your red flag? Because I said no,
Yeah.
no matter what. Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's my point. Is
Yeah.
it wasn't more so to me. It wasn't more so of me being like no Instagram. It was you can't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
That's what
but
you have
I'm
a problem
aware
with.
for me to ask that. I'm aware I've got to bring a
Yeah.
certain thing to the table, and I'm not doing that yet. So I'm not asking it. If that
Also,
makes sense.
Why is his preference, his boundary, why
Mhm.
is that a red flag? Because all he said was that no Instagram, man. I mean, he's entitled to his own.
Oh yeah, I'm not
boundary.
saying that he's not entitled,
You know,
but I think we have to. I think we have to classify what a boundary is versus what a preference is, right? So like, and I think this is like the thing where like red flags, green flags kind of go. Like, they're really all based on our perceptions of people and our preferences, really more than anything. Like, I prefer men who like have a job, or like men who are mentally and emotionally stable, men who can hold space for me, and whatever it is that I'm dealing with. So, and I say that, I mean, not men. Like, I prefer like my husband, obviously.
No, 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 yeah, we get what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, I guess that's kind of like where I'm coming from, and I'm, like I said, like, obviously, there's a reason why you don't date girls that are into Instagram, and that's totally valid. I'm not saying that there's anything bad with it, but for me, like, I think that deserves some investigation. Like, okay, why is Instagram like such a no go for you? And like, for me, when I hear those things, like, that, it is like I can feel myself getting a little bit upset and triggered, and I can be honest about that, because I had a father who was very controlling and who
Well,
what
I mean, I can go ahead and answer that because
Yeah.
Instagram is a dating app.
Well, I mean, it can be. I wouldn't say
it-
that
it-
is, because
is.
I don't date
It-
men on
it-
Instagram.
You say you're not on Instagram
No, I am, but I'm not dating people on
Well,
Instagram. I
but-
didn't date my husband through Instagram either.
because you're married.
But
you're
you're
No,
getting
but even
pursued
when,
at through some extent
Yeah.
by people on Instagram.
I mean, I'm not saying that it hasn't happened, but I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's exclusively a dating app. I think that's a really
Well,
like single-minded
I'm
way
not
to
saying
look
it's
at it.
exclusively, but I'm saying it is the biggest dating platform in the world.
yeah, the biggest.
Yeah, again, I don't agree with that. I mean,
Yeah, and like
That's
also
fine.
also
Yeah.
your site is gonna be a little kind of faulty because one, you're not dating right now,
Well, no, but that I
and
mean, but
also
I've had Instagram for a long time. I think like since the first year, and I can't say like I didn't date anyone I met through Instagram, nor did I ever like.
I'd say like the last 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
it's become
Maybe-
more of a
Maybe that.
dating.
Maybe it's changed.
it's pretty recent.
But I mean,
I wouldn't say it's because you've dated anyone through Instagram. I would say the way the availability and access people have to you is absurd compared to 10 years ago.
yeah,
That's
I
what,
mean,
like
it can
at,
be for
at,
sure.
at any point, some dude can look at any picture or any story and try to, and I'll be honest, like that's how guys do think.
Yeah.
A
And how
lot
does-
of the time, how they can
Yeah.
finagle some way to comment on something and like not be creepy or weird and end up in DMs and stuff. That is how a lot of guys think. And when I say a lot, probably 75, 80%.
I'm not
for real.
disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, I think there is a broader sense, and like, can it be used to date people? Of course, but I don't think that's the sole purpose for it. I don't think that's the sole purpose, nor do I think that's the intention that most of the current users had. Because like a lot of people on Instagram have had their Instagrams for a pretty significant amount of time at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are gravitating to TikTok, But I mean, anything could be a dating app if you're looking at that way. I mean,
I thi-
anything could
But
not.
not
be
the
a dating
biggest
app.
dating app.
Well, I think that you're focusing more on like actually dating someone. That's why I changed it to more being accessible to people that are literally just like there to try to get you. Because your intent if you go out to the club, your intent isn't to pick anyone up. That doesn't mean people aren't going to constantly, hey, can I buy you a drink? You know what I mean? That's not your intent. You know, when you get in there, I got a husband I'm going home to. This isn't happening.
Right.
But he may not feel that great with, I mean, people just buying you drinks, going crazy, just tons of dudes. And maybe in your situation, he's like, hey, I know you're coming home. It doesn't matter. But
Yeah,
a lot
with
of dudes, a lot of
titties.
dudes don't
Well,
move like
yeah.
that.
Okay, so I will insert myself now. Okay,
Yeah, go ahead,
so
Nicole.
all I was gonna say was just like, if you're with a dime piece girl, you know, like, and she's hot, she's gonna get hit on wherever, at
I'm
the
glad you're
grocery
making this
store,
point. Keep going.
you know, like, and I think bottom line is like, well, no, I'm not even gonna go to the bottom line yet. So one of my exes, like, he was super rich, you know, right? And he was just like, I'm gonna buy you a car, blah 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 blah. And yeah, he was like, what, 5 years older than me. And to me, like, it mattered more how he treated me. And he treated me with disrespect. Like, he felt like he owned me, you know, because he was willing to get me the stuff that he thought would make me feel secure. And to me, that's when I was just like, no, what matters to me is the way that you treat me, not what you can, like, materialistically give me. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, it would be more conducive to explore why the desire to control another person is more so than, like, exploring, like, what is it that you're afraid of, that she's going to
Mhm.
leave you, that she's going to betray you, and then why is it that you can't trust her?
Right.
All
So
right, Colton, go ahead and respond to that. We're gonna wrap it up.
okay. Right. My argument would be, I'm not gonna park a Ferrari in the hood.
Mm,
Like, I'm
Preach.
just not.
Preach. Did you understand that, or you need him to explain it?
Well, I mean, that makes sense, but, like, what's the whole point of owning a Ferrari?
Not to go to the
Or
hood.
what does that say about you?
Say it again.
Like, what's inside the Ferrari? Is it just because she looks amazing, or, like, what's her character like, or is it all because of what she looks like?
No. So she is the Ferrari.
But the thing
At that
is,
point,
this would be
in
like a
this
Tesla
comparison.
that can drive itself. So if you trust that person,
What?
then you trust that they're not going to do certain things. And if they happen to park at the ghetto, maybe it's because they have a friend that needs something, and they're going to
Friend
drive
out of
off.
there.
I will say this. I'll say this
She
too.
said self-driving
because, like,
Ferrari.
Or
Yeah.
materialistic belongings.
Go ahead.
yeah, no, I think I'll say this too. Like, just to add in, I know we're probably close to wrapping it up, but I understand. Like, I understand what both of y'all are saying. Like, you don't want to cast like pearls before swine and all like that. But first of all, you got to make sure that, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, my experience is so different. My husband is not possessive. He is not insecure whatsoever. And for him, like, it's not an issue. Like, if I want to have an Instagram, if I want to post something revealing, like, I'm free to do that because our relationship is secure. Like, he's not worried about other men hitting on him because he knows at the end of the day, no matter what a guy does or what he says, like, if I get people in my DMs sometimes, and they're like, hey, you know, blah blah blah, blah, whatever. I'm just like, the fuck out of here. Like,
But that doesn't mean
I'm
he's
not
cool
interested.
with it, though. He may trust you. It doesn't mean he's cool
Oh,
with it. But I
but
will
he
say,
thinks it's funny. He
but I will
laughs.
say
It's
you
entertaining.
connected my boundary or red
Yeah.
flag or whatever to insecurity and possessiveness,
Exactly.
which is, it's just that's how it is when a guy says a boundary or a red flag. It's got to be you're insecure. It's got to be I have to let you do whatever you want all the time. Can't say anything.
Yeah,
And that's
because
cool.
because
That's
it's
cool.
just like how you
Because-
said that you don't want to date any guys that don't have a job. I could just be
Oh,
like,
I understand where
that's
you're
your
coming from.
insecurity. That's your insecurity for
Of,
saying
of
that you
course
want
it
a guy
is,
that
because I've
can
dated people
provide for
that,
you.
yeah, of course it's an insecurity because
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna like, I'm fully aware that it is, because I don't want to have to worry about
But
whether
the
I'm
point
gonna be
is,
I
taken
wouldn't
care
say
of or
that's
not.
insecure.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say that's you being smart.
That
exactly.
goes back to discretion.
That's
Yeah.
different. Yeah,
That's the
just-
point. We
But-
wouldn't call your boundaries insecurity, but you called his boundary insecurity for not wanting
I
to date
mean,
a girl that.
I wouldn't want you to date
I
someone
would
who
say-
has no job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't same. Like,
But I
if
wouldn't
would
call
want-
it an insecurity. I would say you're being very smart by doing that. you know?
right. But I guess like my thing is like, okay, obviously, and you understand this because you're an artist too. Like, how do you think a girlfriend would feel about all these girls in your DMs? I mean, you're not a bad looking dude. Like, I'm sure it happens.
Solid 5.
Like, yeah.
No, I mean, no, I get exactly what you're
So, like,
saying.
do you
and-
understand? Like,
but girls and guys are different. That's just
Okay,
what it
well, I will
is.
say this, that I think the word boundaries being thrown around like it's some sort of like thing to push people away, but boundaries are made so that you can keep people in your life and if they
Right.
respect your boundary. But it's not like you can never say
Correct.
anything. It's more like, hey, baby, like, I really like, what are you feeling whenever she's about to go to the club? And if she cares, like she can be more mindful when she's there or not go and like help you feel secure in a sense of like, I just need to take a break, I just want to have fun with my girls or something. And then you guys can come to an understanding.
That's like saying,
yeah.
okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my hand in the fire pit. I don't know if it's gonna burn me, and I've never put my hand in the fire pit before, but I'm still gonna put my hand in the fire pit. That's just like saying, oh, I'm gonna let my girl go to the club. We know what happens in the club. Guys go there to get girls drunk and take them back to their spot. That's what the club is for.
Well, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, yeah, okay, so that is the purpose of the club. Other people just love to dance. Like, I personally can't say that I want to go to a club, but what I'm trying to say is that not everybody is like that. We can't generalize that everybody who wants to go to a club wants to get drunk and then, like do a one night stand. The time
If
for
you
that
want to
not-
dance, why don't you go dance with your man?
but I also think it's kind
Go
of
with your man.
I also think it's kind of unfair to men to assume that a lot of men think that way too, because like
I'm a dude.
Yeah,
though.
we can.
yeah,
we
but
know what guys
you
think.
guys think that way, but that doesn't mean all men think that way.
Oh well, saying all is would
Or-
be
or even
crazy
saying-
to say. Majority is correct.
Maybe a good chunk of
at
them
least
do.
80,
but I'm not
90%.
like, but also I do think it's unfair to hold men to such a low standard at the same time. Like obviously I know obviously like maybe this is not something that you guys want to hear, but I am exposed to such a high caliber of a man. It's like I know what's possible for men. I know men can go to a club and genuinely be respectful and have fun and not try to get a girl drunk and take them home. And I've met a lot of men that aren't that way.
Damn, I wish your husband
So-
was here.
Not really.
I do too.
Bring him on next
But-
time.
but
Let's
that's what I'm
dissect
saying,
the
like,
situation.
And even a lot of the men that are my friends or our close friends are not in that mentality. And so I think I don't know, like I would say like maybe the guys that are you guys are around maybe like that, but there is a certain caliber of man who does not have that mentality about women and doesn't have that mentality about being in social situations.
It's
where,
not necessarily
where
that
they're
we're
trying
like.
to get something.
It's not necessarily that we're like around these guys or we're making it up. We're in the nightlife and we see
Oh yeah,
what these people are doing.
I'm not
and
saying that it
and
doesn't
it's not just
happen.
guys.
yeah.
It's mostly girls out here. These girls are going wild. Like they're in these sections with Uzi, you know what I'm saying? Waka Flocka, you know what I'm saying? Just last week.
And these girls are the ones who got no job.
Yeah.
Like,
Can I
They
interject
probably don't.
real quick?
They probably
Go
don't.
ahead,
Like,
Carlos. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, it's just like I kind of wanted to like put in my couple of words of like put my like thoughts in for the penny. So like as someone that's like had an emotional affair with somebody else, it's like I just got one question for you, Clayton. It's like when you're in a relationship, would you consider yourself like the Lamborghini then, like the jet plane or something like that?
mm, as opposed to what?
Like you said, like when you're dating a girl, like you're gonna be dating, she's gonna be the Ferrari, right?
Right. So I'm
So-
gonna treat her like it. I'm not gonna park in the hood. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Of course, but like would you say you're also like the Lamborghini or something like that in this relationship? Like you're also someone that she'll view as like a high value asset or something like that, right?
Yeah, well, that's why I said earlier I'm not at that point to even ask certain things that I think I should. Does that kind of answer that question?
Yeah, that does. I guess like the point that I'm trying to make is that like at some point every car is gonna come with low jack. Every car comes with low jack and stuff like that. If like someone tries to sell me a car and be like, hey, you could park it anywhere and like any person could come up and like take that car from you, then I'm not gonna want it, But like I should be able to have a car that is smart enough that says like, hey, it doesn't matter where you park it in the hood. It's like if someone tries to touch that car, it's going to say fuck off.
See,
I feel like that's like the things that like I have to build for myself as well. It's just like if I'm going to like be talking to other people and stuff like that, I need to have my own boundaries because boundaries aren't made for you to control other people. They're for you to protect yourself. So I'm going to like if a girl like comes sliding my DMs and stuff like that, I'm just gonna be like, hey, I got a girl, and like I don't really want to partake in this mess. She doesn't feel comfortable with me talking to you. Then that's
Right.
about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And I want to
Exactly.
date someone
I-
who has the same mentality.
I
I
gotta-
feel like if I date someone who doesn't have the same mentality, she ain't the Ferrari then.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
I
but-
think in your example though, you said no matter if I park, if it's parked in the hood or whatever. Obviously, this is a bad analogy now because it's getting way out of hand. But the point is to
I'm just saying, cars come with LoJack.
avoid the hood as much as possible in this situation. Like, why would you purposely do it and be like, my locks are good? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of
Yeah.
what it goes to. It's like, you know, she said earlier, like, well, what if she wants to go out to the club like one time? She just got to have a girls' trip or whatever. Like, I mean, then I would say what he said. Like, what's preventing you? You like dancing. What's preventing you from staying at the crib and dancing with your man? If you really like dancing, why you got to go out? Why can't you dress? Because it's not for that reason. It's so you can show off and do all that, and that's
Or
cool.
maybe she's not getting the attention at home.
Well,
But if-
why you with
That's
that
true.
guy then if you're not getting that attention at home? That means you need to find somebody who's
I
giving
mean,
you
because
attention. Then.
it's just like being.
Why do you have to look for it
proximity.
outside?
Well, the thing is, I'm just trying to practice compassion with this person, you know, like, and then also understand that like love changes and evolves as you are with that one person, and that flame needs to continually be lit, right? And it involves work. And then sometimes, like, I hear this all the time where people are just like, yeah, we have kids, and now like our kids are going to graduate, and I'm just like so scared that when I look at that person in front of me that I don't even know them. They're just my roommate because they stopped like seeing each other. There's two, like, it's like I'm like this beside Colton right now and Anais that I like can't like appreciate them like wholeheartedly without taking a step back. And it's just like something that happens and they have to just like come back together again. And if they don't, then stuff like that happens. Like people, I don't think people like fall in love and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, one day I'm going to cheat on you. Like, I don't think that people who truly love each other, that's what happens. They just catch themselves like time flies and they don't know why they don't feel validated or like loved in this relationship. And
Yeah,
then the
it's like,
person's, too busy, you know?
You got to work on it. The solution isn't I'm finna go to the club and dance my ass off with my girls. Hopefully, I get a couple drinks and get lit. I feel like the solution is, like you said, you got to talk to your dude and stuff.
Yeah.
I get lit at the club.
Well, that's another
I get lit at the
like,
club. I get lit at the club. Not all the time. Every once in a blue moon. But, you know, like I said,
Well,
Me
like
and my
girls,
husband
like
have an
girls'
understanding.
night.
What if
oh
you-
yeah, like
Well,
what's wrong with
yeah.
girls? Like, the thing
What's
is
wrong
like
with girls' night?
when
Are your
you
girls single or married too?
I mean, it's a combination. It's a combination.
And the single ones is the ones you got to
Yeah,
watch
watch out for the
out.
single ones.
But the thing is like when
They'll
you
set
think
you up.
about when you think about love, what love really is, love, and like this is probably the only Bible verse that I still really like. Love is patient, love is kind.
So I'm
Love
gonna take
does
advantage
not-
of everything.
None does
Yeah.
love does not envy, love is not boastful, and so on and so forth. And
Is
when
it
it
not
comes
boastful
to being,
going out to the clubs, getting to the club? Is that not
But it-
boastful?
I mean,
that sounds pretty boastful.
it
to me,
depends what
yeah.
you're into. It depends what your intent is. But like some people genuinely enjoy that kind of expression and
Well, okay.
creativity. But what I'm gonna say is my point is that when you're in a relationship, relationships aren't meant to put you in a box. Like in my experience, a healthy relationship has made me feel the most liberated and the most free and the most beautiful and the most supported and cared for I have ever felt in my life versus when I was single. I didn't have I have a sense of security and stability, and I have a safe place where I can explore who I am, because who I am changes every single day. I'm not the same person I was yesterday, and I'm obviously very grateful that I have someone that I can share a life with and build a life with that way. But I'm also not going to say that's how every single relationship will be either. Can you have a happy relationship and a girl's okay with like not having an Instagram? Yeah. I don't think that can make or break a relationship. I think these are outside factors that I think people put a little bit too much attention to instead of the substance of what a relationship is.
Yeah, and also when you choose to be in a relationship with someone, I mean, obviously it has to be synergetic, but it's not about me. Like
You
I'm
can tell
choosing
she does
to-
yoga. I know she talks like this when people are stretching and shit.
Oh,
But
no.
keep going.
I feel like it's a
Synergetic.
hardcore thing. It's all dialogue. Like there's nothing else. But I do meditate. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that when I choose to be in when I am in a serious relationship right now, and I'm choosing to respect this person, I'm choosing to love this person. This isn't about me, and I chose someone who will do the same thing for me. So if a person, I guess this is another red flag. If you want to get into a relationship because of what they can do for you, then you're not ready for a long-term commitment.
Mhm.
Well, but I
Yeah.
mean, each party, a man and woman don't bring the same thing to give. They don't bring the same thing to the table. They don't bring the same thing to the relationship. So it's not gonna be equal. It's you give something that I don't have, and I give something you don't have. So it's not necessarily gonna be that way. That you all gonna be synergetic, like that word you use. It's not gonna be the same thing. It's not gonna be equal. It's
It's
I
not
have
about,
something you don't have.
yeah, but it's
You
not
got something I
about
don't have.
being equal, because that sets this precedence of superiority and inferiority complex. This has more to do with like equity. Like my needs are different from my partner's needs. So am I willing to give my partner what he wants because it's not compromising me? And do I self-support myself? Like, can I be okay if he says no? Because his world doesn't revolve around me, and he has his like job and like other things like that, and I need to be grounded within my own being. So it's just like two trees stand together and their roots intertwine or something, but I have to be happy on my own, and this person has to be happy on his own, and we just make each other happier.
Sorry, this
Yeah.
chat is funny as a bitch.
But yeah, I would say like I hear this analogy a lot, right? The what do you bring to the table thing.
Give
And
your.
I don't. I think.
I don't.
I think it's.
I don't want to start nothing new.
No,
All right.
I'm saying
Give your last point.
my last point
Give your
is
last points.
build the table together, and let's see what we can put on the table from there.
Okay. All right. You, Nicole.
Work on yourself. I mean, my thing is just like some people, they want to be like Taylor Swift or like Elon Musk or something, but what kind of personal development are you doing? And this doesn't even have to be about yoga or meditation. It's just like, what are my red flags? Like, and I'm responsible for like fixing those, not the other person. And am I going to be vulnerable and authentic enough for them to know it so that, they can see and they can support me?
Okay. All right, Colton.
This shit is crazy. Go ahead, it's on you.
If the Ferrari doesn't come with anti-theft protection, I don't want the Ferrari.
Why is the Ferrari in the
What?
hood, bro? Why does it go to the hood?
It doesn't-
No,
it
have
doesn't-
you ever lived in the hood though? Like I
Yeah.
had a hood. Like you see so many nice cars parked.
No,
out
you
in
do
the
not.
Have
This shit
you-
gonna get broken
Those
into.
drug dealers. Man.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yes.
saying, right? Like,
Nobody's touching them cars because they gonna
You
die.
ever,
Yeah.
see, you ever see like someone live in a trailer house, but they have a nice ass like Mercedes parked in front? Like, no,
Those are drug dealers.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
there's a
yo,
bunch of those in my neighborhood. Then.
yo, chat. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Everybody, appreciate y'all for showing love, coming through in chat. Oh, we're about to head out, y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see y'all later. Peace.